concerning water, and this is imposing a water meter testing fee in certain circumstances.
Make a motion to have first reading on this ordinance, proposed ordinance. First reading.
You got a motion, do you wanna explain it a little bit, Scotty?
Yeah.
Maybe for some that don't understand what it is?
Okay, what this is, we've talked about this for 2 or 3 years. Anytime a person complains about their meter, the meter reader goes out and he does a profile, they can hook his computer laptop to that meter, and it will print out a profile. And it shows where the water, like the toilet's flush, it shows where water is used, when there's no water at all, or if there's a leak, it shows water being used. Well, that's the first thing we do, and we show it to the, customer, and they still demand they want that meter tested. So we send the meter in, it costs $25 to get tested. And then when they send the meter in, we have to replace the meter, and these meters are registered to that address. And once the meter's sent in, all the meters that we've had sent in, they've all come back fine. There's been no issues with the meters. And when the meter comes back, means it's registered to that address, it can't be used again unless it goes back that address. So it's considered deemed a dead meter. And the cost of that meter is $265.60. The meter reader, he gets paid no matter if he's turning off water, reading meters, whatever. So that his cost doesn't apply to this. But we run across, we're just trying to deter from, once they do the profile, that explains it. But they demand the meter taken off this way, they'll pay for that meter to be replaced. But if it comes back and this proposed ordinance states that the meter is sent in and it does come back fault, you don't have to pay it. It's written in that this way also. We worked on this ordinance, we wanted that in there, that way if there was an issue, they wouldn't have to pay for the test or pay for the meter.
So the cost to the people would be $260, whatever the cost.
It'd be $265.60 for the meter and then $25 for the testing. And if it comes back faulty, there's no cost.
How many have you tested in the past?
Last year we tested like 3 of them. And then the year before, I know how many we've been doing. I know we've been doing like 3 a year or sometimes more.
That's a good estimate, 3 or 4.
Because I know we've had issues, we've had at one place, they've changed meter a couple different times. And it's come back, there's nothing wrong with it. They've got an issue there, they finally fixed it. But
I'm not saying that this is such, I understand the problem. I don't think that this ordinance is actually the way we need to do it, though. I think we need to do it a little different, just my opinion. For one, how come we can't just go ahead and put that meter right back on the house?
because you already got another brand new meter that's registered for that address. Either way, if you get the meter test and it comes back, you've already put another meter on there that's registered to that address. So either way, you've got a meter you can't use. That's how these meters are set up.
It's pointless to send it in if we're not ever gonna reuse it, so, like, we're
Well,
putting a brand new meter on,
you
so
send it in,
might as well
make
just-
sure there's not a problem with it. If there's a problem with it, then the customer doesn't have to pay for it. It's gotta be tested.
Right.
I'm not saying that we don't need to do something, I'm just not so sure that this is the right thing to do. I think we need to research this a little bit more and try to come up with something better. We can't we have too many meters issues and water issues now. The people have to have an option of how to find out what's wrong.
Great, there's 2 options right there. The water meter guy going out and checking the profile.
Right, and that's
And then
great.
the other option is to
And
apparently go with what the ordinance is gonna be now.
if and just because they say they want it sent in, that doesn't mean we have to do it.
Well,
Basically,
I mean, why?
they
Why
don't
can't we do
believe,
something different?
they don't believe in general.
I don't know,
If-
I just heard about this. though.
Right, go ahead.
If they can't see a leak, they often don't believe there is one. But when a meter breaks, and we haven't had any of these new ones break that I know of, when a meter breaks, your bill would go down. It wouldn't speed up, your bill would go down. We'd be the ones whining that your meter was broke. Usually it's somebody who's got some bypass at a toilet or something that's so slow they can't find it, and they point to the meter and say, that thing's broke. So we're asking them to roll the dice on if this thing is broke or not. We'll test it and you'll pay the cost of testing. I don't think this $260 thing, I'm not sure that's accurate, but somebody's gotta stand on their head and take a meter out and maybe put it back. I mean, there's some employees' time involved. But if that thing's broke, which we haven't run into broken ones, we run into people who don't believe they have a leak. And if the meter was broke, it would go slower or it wouldn't turn. And their bill would be lower and we wouldn't be out there talking to them. We'd be saying, why is this guy not using any water anymore? And then we'd want to look at the meter.
How about the other,
It doesn't make your meter spin faster. It
So
makes
there's
it
no
slow
way it
down.
would spin faster if we did
I'm
this.
sure there's some way, some
Not
crazy.
typically. No.
There's, yeah, I'm gonna say it will not spin faster when it breaks.
You said 3 a year, Tanya?
can't the meter be tested in line?
Yeah, you can open it up and look at the thing spin.
Yeah.
We do that every time and they don't believe
Yeah.
it. This is about people not believing their eyes.
Thank you, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah, because every time we,
Thank you, Greg.
Hey.
It's kind of just a protection plan.
You got it.
these prices, these
I will go ahead
prices
and
are
second
today.
the motion that's on the table.
I got it.
But these prices are today, because I talked to the water superintendent this morning, and the meter reader, they called the company to get the actual prices of today of the parts, because there's a meter base, encoder register part, an ME and an endpoint, and got the prices breakdown for each part of it. And then the testing is $25, and I know Brian and water meter reader has been talking about this for, ever since I've been on operations, they've been talking about this. And we've never done it, and I'm like, if we ever have to tie into the ordinance, do any changes, we ought to do something with it. And that's what we're doing now. Try to deter, because when they do the profile explains, like the last council meeting, we had that up here because we thought we was gonna have an issue with a customer. And we had that up here, because that's the first thing we do is the profile, and that explains what's going on.
Do we charge them for the profile?
No,
Okay.
they don't charge for that. They go out there, they hook up the laptop to the meter, and it takes all the records, then they bring it back to the office, and they print it out. You know, that's where you get stacks like that of the meter. I've had, every time we've had issues, I got them. And then they went out, the superintendent would go out and show the individual, this is what the meter's going, you have a problem or you don't have a problem. And then that's where you got a few people just demand to do it. And it's like, it's a waste of time, there's nothing wrong with that meter. So we're just trying to deter from doing this, because we're the ones eating the cost of the meter every time we do it.
I got a first and second, so let's take it to a vote.
Garrett,
Yes.
Beeson,
Yes.
Chrysler,
No.
Eddie,
This is the first presentation.
Yes.
yes, first presentation.
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
6 ayes, 1 nay. This is for first reading.